Okay. Thank you guys for watching, liking, and subscribing. This is my 100 subscriber special. Today we're going to examine the scene where Spenny gets arrested in the homeless episode. So I'm going to break this into 5 parts. We're going to examine the police car, the police officers, the location, the language used, and the editing for the scene. So I'm going to examine a bunch of different police cars that have been on the show. Some of them are fake, some of them are real. So let's start with the police car from the Rapper episode. Since we know it's a fake car, it's a good place to start and determine some characteristics of a fake police car. So to start, the police decal is on the left side of the trunk lid. The Canadian flag decal is on the right side of the rear bumper. And there's no patrol car number, which should be in the center of the rear bumper. The To Serve and Protect decal is all on the rear door. These are just some characteristics of a movie prop car. We don't have every camera angle around the car, so we're just going to work with what we've seen off of this car. So now let's compare some of these characteristics to a real City of Toronto police car from that time period. First of all, the police decal is going to be in the middle of the trunk. The Canadian flag decal is going to be on the right side of the trunk. The patrol car number is going to be in the center of the rear bumper. And the To Serve and Protect decal is going to be between the front and rear doors. Now, just for consistency, here's the police car from the Who Can Commit More Crime episode. And you'll notice that the police decal is in the center of the trunk. The To Serve and Protect decal is split between the front and rear doors. And the police car that issues Kenny a parking ticket also has the police decal in the center of the trunk. Here's a police car from an outtake of Who Can Keep a Dump in Their Pants the Longest. Notice that the police decal is in the center, the Canadian flag is on the right side of the trunk, and the patrol car number is on the center of the bumper.
Am I breaking any laws? Is it illegal to wear a dirty diaper?
So now let's compare this information to the police car from the homeless episode. First of all, the police decal is on the left side of the trunk. The patrol car number's not in the center, and whatever's on the left is blurred out. And there's no Canadian flag decal anywhere whatsoever. Also, the To Serve and Protect decal is all on the rear door. These things are consistent with the fake police car from the Rap episode. Now, this is the Toronto Police crest, and it's on every single Toronto Police vehicle. Here's an officer who's going to be making coffee for a while. Now, on the front of the car, let's have a closer look at the door here. This is what the police crest on a Toronto Police vehicle should look like. It says Toronto Police. Now, let's have a look at the crest on the car from the homeless episode. It says Metropolitan Police. The last time Toronto had a Metropolitan Police car, it looked like this. And before that, it looked like this. And this. So during the years of Kenny vs. Spenny, there were absolutely no police cars in the Toronto area that said Metropolitan Police on them, which leads me to believe that this car is a prop car for filming in movies. Now let's move on to the police officers. Now I have 3 problems with these police officers. First of all, neither one of them is wearing body armor. Police officers do not go out without their body armor. Second, the taller one doesn't have a radio on. Every police officer has a radio to communicate with every other police officer. So that if you're chasing a guy west and your partner's chasing a guy east and one of you gets hurt, you can radio for help and your partner will abandon his foot chase and come to your aid. Police officers do not go out without radios. And the third thing I have a problem with is the uniformity of their equipment. The shorter police officer wears his handcuffs loose on his right hip, and the taller police officer wears his handcuffs loose over his left butt cheek. Now, I was in the military for a long time, and the police operate like a paramilitary force. Everyone's equipment is supposed to be standardized exactly the same. So what that means is every soldier carries a tourniquet, and each of them carries it in the exact same place of their equipment. Now, why this is important is if you get shot and you're laying on the ground, your buddy knows where to go to get your tourniquet out to put it on your body. If there's no uniformity and he doesn't know where your tourniquet is, you're gonna fucking bleed out, okay? And for a police officer, it's kind of the same thing. If I'm wrestling with a guy and I've got him pinned to the ground and I need my partner to get my handcuffs and put them on this guy because his handcuffs were already used on someone else, he needs to know where they are on my body. So when I see these 2 police officers with their handcuffs here and their handcuffs there, it makes me seriously doubt the legitimacy of their professionalism. They look like actors. So while I was researching this video, I managed to find the exact location where Spenny got arrested. This is the exact tree that Kenny was sitting in when the police came along. So on Reddit, there's a user who posted every single filming location except the arrest location. I'll add a link to it in the description. The first thing I did was I went and I found the bridge that they were sleeping under for the homeless episode. And then the next thing I did was look through some clips of the park to find some recognizable landmarks. So here I found this fence that has a wavy top and what appears to be a cemetery behind it. So I knew I was looking for a park beside a cemetery. And the other thing is, on the other side of the road here, it's kind of built up with all the cars parked around. I knew there would be either an industrial area or some houses or something. So I was looking for a park that was adjacent to a graveyard and a residential area. When I started looking around, eventually I saw this greenhouse that looked very much like this greenhouse, and that's when I knew I had found the location. So after I found the greenhouse, I turned the camera around on the Google Street View and I found the park and I found the tree that Kenny was sitting in, and I know for sure this is exactly where Spenny was arrested. So now we're going to talk about the language used by the police officer.
Okay, he is going to press charges.
You gotta be kidding, Kenny! Fuck you!
Now in Canada, it's up to the police officer's discretion to arrest and charge people. It's not up to the victim to agree to lay charges or not, unless the police officer decides to let you have a say in the matter. Now what the hell does that mean? I'm going to give you two situations. Now let's say my neighbor's beating up his wife. I call the police come and they intervene, and the wife says, no, don't arrest him. It's up to the police officer to decide whether he's going to arrest that man and charge him or not. It's not up to my neighbor's wife to say, please don't arrest him, I don't want him to go to jail. If the police want you, they will take you. I'm going to counter that with something else, with a personal story. I used to have an asshole for a neighbor. Now, he did something illegal to myself and my, at the time, girlfriend. And we had to get the police involved. And after investigating, the police came to me and they said, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to arrest him? Do you want us to talk to him? Do you want us to scare him? Or do you want us to do nothing? The reason they ask is because what the crime he had committed was so minor that there was not a reasonable prospect of conviction, and it was also not in the public interest to arrest this man and take him to trial because there was no danger to public safety. He was just harassing myself and my, at the time, girlfriend. So I told the police to go and scare him. They went and scared him and he left us alone. But the point is, they gave me a choice in the matter. So when people say that this scene is unreal because Kenny would not have been given the choice to lay charges or not, I don't think it really holds up, because the police have the ultimate final say, but there are occasions for minor crimes like punching your friend in the arm where, yes, it's an arrestable offense, but is it really worth it to take him to jail? They're going to come to you and they're going to say, what do you want us to do? I do believe the police car is a fake and the policemen are actors, but the whole argument that they would never ask Kenny if he wanted to press charges, that's simply not true, because it does happen. And finally, we're going to talk about the editing sequence. Now, the scene where Spenny's arrested is actually cut together from two completely different days of the competition. It's cut together from day one, and it's cut together from the final day. The first thing we see in the scene where Spenny is arrested is this police car driving around. And since it has police in the center of the trunk, and it has the Canadian flag on the right side of the trunk, and it looks like a real police car. So immediately you're misled into thinking that the police car that arrests Spenny is a real car. Here's what I want you to know. That shot of the police car driving around is actually from day one, and here's where it's from.
Aha! Kenny, you loser!
Totally assaulted me. I get him arrested for assault.
I will hurt him, and I will not apologize for it because...
Now watch my edit of day one and the final day where I put all these pieces together in their proper chronological order.
Totally assaulted me. I get him arrested for assault. Fucking Chris.
I will hurt him, and I will not apologize for it because...
I know that these are pieced together from 2 different days at 2 different locations, and I figured it all out. I know it's put together on 2 different days because on the day that the competition started, there was overcast outside, and the only shadows available are directly underneath objects. And on the final day when Spenny gets arrested, it's bright and sunny outside and it casts long shadows in the park, and the other areas are nice and bright. Now, I also know that it was shot in 2 different locations because I found the actual location where the first day took place. It's the same location as the humiliation where Spenny gets kneed in the balls. You see, when the police car is driving around the park, you can kind of see Guardian Drugs in the background. So I researched on Google Maps for Guardian Drugs. I didn't find it because it's not there anymore. So I Google searched for car rental business, because you can see a blue car rental sign on the left side of the screen. And then I looked for a car rental business with an address that was really close to 150, because you can see 150 on the side of the building. But I did find a car rental business at a 140 Carlton. And when I did a Google search of 140 Carlton, I found this. So Guardian Drugs used to be in this plaza when Kenny vs. Spenny was filmed. It's not there anymore. But since I know this is in the background, now I can say for sure that the first day was filmed in Allen Gardens.
So where does that leave us? And what kind of conclusions can we draw from this research? Well, I can say for sure that the police car is a prop car, and I can say that the policemen are actors. I can say that the locations exist. I can say that the editing is done a certain way to drive the narrative. Beyond that, I don't know what to say. Like, why did they do this? Is it a reshoot? Did Spenny get arrested, but they couldn't use the footage for some reason, so they had to reshoot it? To book the actors and the prop car, you'd probably have to do it well in advance. So I hate to use the word scripted, but this really comes off as scripted, because they would have had to plan to use fake police officers to arrest Spenny. So when people make the argument that Spenny can't act, yeah, he can. A little bit, anyway. Just enough. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed. I want to say thank you to everyone who watches these. I don't make any money off of them. This is purely a labor of love. And I hope you all stick around for another 100 subscribers.
Close your eyes. Just. I don't know if I got him. Did I get you?